Hi everyone, my name is Mariana Pinzon Villa and this is my news report. I'm gonna be talking about the agriculture crisis in the European Union. The title of my news is the following: Ministers press Commission to trigger private storage aid against food price shocks. This news is found in the Euractiv portal, which is a news portal based in Europe. Now, the context for the news. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, a lot of farmers in Europe are suffering from the lack of production and, of course, the market disturbances and price impacts. With that in mind, all the 27 European Union farmer ministers called for the activation of the Private Storage Aid, which is PSA, in order to support the most affected agri-food sectors which have taken the most damage since the spread of the pandemic. Now, the Common Market Organization is basically a safety net for farmers that acts when there are cases of market crisis in which prices collapse. The measures found in the Common Market are public intervention, private storage aid, and withdrawals, among others. The PSA is a traditional form of public European Union intervention that aims to rebalance a disrupted market by reducing a short-term oversupply. There are three stances on this topic. First, what the Agriculture Minister said. As it was said, the Agriculture Ministers are calling for the private storage aid and they are focusing on two articles of the Common Market Organization, which are Article 221 and Article 229. Now, members of European Parliament sitting on the European Parliament's Agriculture Committee, which is COMAGRI, wrote a letter to the European Commissioner for Agriculture, Janusz Wojciechowski, asking for the European Union executive to activate clauses and directly intervene on the agricultural market. Now, Wojciechowski, the European Union Agriculture Commissioner, said that the market intervention measures are originally designed to fix occasional problems in one or a few markets at once, but the current crisis outdoes the possibility of the current budget. So, I talked about two articles, Article 221 and Article 221. 9. The first one says the Commission could adopt implementing acts derogating the provisions of the regulation itself only to an extent that it is strictly necessary and for a limited period. In Article 221 are consecrated the exceptional measures against market disturbance, which are normally triggered to cope with significant price rises or falls on either internal or external markets, or in the case of other circumstances disturbing or threatening to disturb the markets. Now, the 478 million emergency. Members of European Parliament are calling on the European Union Executive, Wojciechowski, to tap into a previously unused emergency reserve for farmers, which currently amounts to 478 million euros and is typically disbursed through direct payments. Those direct payments should be made to farmers who have been particularly hard hit by the pandemic. Now I found some issues or threats that pose challenges to the news and the European Union itself. Firstly, the lack of funds. Wojciechowski basically said the European Union has no funds for the farmers as of 2020 since the budget was already distributed. Now, this leads to the second one, challenges for the European market. If now the members of European Parliament and the Commissioner do not act, this could lead to a future crisis in Europe since intra-trade and the agricultural matters could be severely affected. The last one is the alignment of institutions. It is necessary that both the Commissioners and the parliamentaries find a solution to this issue, which I which as I already said could lead to more than just a simple market reduction. Now, in my analysis, I focus on three main things. Firstly, the importance of the news. This news is really relevant since the repercussions will either deepen the integration of the European Union in terms of policies or weaken its economy. Taking into account the economic part of the European Union is what first brought the member states together. Now, I wanted to focus on supranationalism. Supranationalism has key characteristics. Firstly, sharing of national sovereignty, and secondly, the presence of supranational institutions, among others. Both of these characteristics are present in the news. Firstly, since the agriculture ministers of all of the member states act as one to request the Commission to act, which means the sharing of national sovereignty. Secondly, because the Commission, a supranational institution, becomes the main actor. Now, this is more of a question, but I wanted to talk about the spillover effect. The outcome of this news could shine a light on the spillover effect. Does actual cooperation in one policy area lead to cooperation in another policy area? Here I'm talking about the health policies provided by the European Union due to the COVID-19 versus the agricultural policies. Now I have a question for you guys, which is, do you think the European Union institutions will collaborate in regards to agriculture? So let me know what you think. And finally, here are my references. The first one is the news I just presented, and the last two are news I used to complement my news report. And that's about it. Thanks.